Several new developments in South suburban Dolton today. First, the state comptroller has suspended some payments to the village because it has failed to follow the law by providing financial reports.
You could feel the anger tonight at a Board of Trustees meeting in Thornton Township. The board and citizens looking for accountability to their finances, while the township supervisor...
You won't believe what's happening in Dolton right now. It's like something out of a political drama with one woman at the center of it all. Mayor Tiffany Henyard. Yes, the same Tiffany Henyard who's been all over the news for her extravagant spending and bold, defiant attitude. But now she's facing a storm that could bring her entire career crashing down. Former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot is about to drop a bombshell report on the village's finances, and trust us, it's not looking good for Henyard.
No reason for anyone from a township to go to a mayor's conference. A mayor's conference is a mayor's conference for mayors.
Now, Tiffany Henyard isn't just your typical small-town mayor. Oh no, she's made a name for herself, or rather, crowned herself super mayor, and boy, has she lived up to that title in the most outrageous ways possible. This is the woman who's been accused of spending village money like it's her own personal piggy bank, throwing massive party, hiring high-profile entertainers like Keith Wyatt and Jay Holiday, and using taxpayer money for things the residents definitely didn't approve of. And yet, even with all these accusations piling up, she's standing firm, calling it all a smear campaign by her political enemies.
The manpower was just very stressed and critical to the point of almost breaking.
But let's take a step back and look at what's really going on here. The tension in Dolton started building a while ago, with Henyard already making headlines for her bold decisions. She's been at odds with the trustees of the village, especially when it comes to money. They've accused her of playing a shell game with village funds, moving money around in ways that just don't add up. And let's not forget, Henyard's spending habits are making waves, not the good kind. This woman has managed to rack up thousands of expenses on credit cards, hosting events that no one really asked for or needed. And her latest move, the Taste of Thornton Township, cost the jaw-dropping 85,000 pounds. That's right, 85,000 pounds of taxpayer money for a party that barely anyone showed up to.
Deep debt, and that is the finding of an investigation of village finances and the spending habits of beleaguered Mayor Tiffany Henyard.
The drama reached a boiling point when Keith Freeman, a former top aide to Henyard, was suddenly fired. Freeman was considered by many to be a whistleblower, someone trying to expose the corruption happening in Dolton. But Henyard wasn't having it. She fired him, and the trustees are convinced this move could lead to an expensive lawsuit that the village can't afford.
One way that the government always does it is to go and investigate people around her, and that's what they're doing here.
You see, Freeman was in a key position, and his firing without the proper authority, mind you, has only added fuel to the fire. This isn't just about money. This is about power, and Henyard knows it. Even with the trustees breathing down her neck, she's pushing back hard, accusing them of political games and calling them out in public meetings. In one particularly heated session, she flat out refused to acknowledge any wrongdoing, claiming that everything she's done has been for the good of the community. But the trustees are having none of it. They've been meeting, even when Henyard skips out, to take action against her. They've passed motions to limit her spending, grant business licenses that she's been holding up, and even approved a new firefighter's contract without her presence. It's safe to say the trustees are done playing her games, and they're ready to put an end to her anti-Hertz once and for all.
Is there a motion to terminate Keith Freeman?
Now, the question on everyone's mind is this: how much longer can Henyard hold on to her power? With a federal investigation underway and Lori Lightfoot's report looming on the horizon, things are looking incredibly shaky for the super mayor. Residents are furious, trustees are fed up, and Henyard's house of cards could come crashing down at any moment. But Tiffany, ever defiant, is digging in her heels, accusing everyone else of harassment and slander. She's calling this whole thing a witch hunt, designed to take down a strong woman who's been trying to do good for her community. But with all the evidence mounting against her, is anyone still buying that excuse?
But it saddens my heart that you are up here at this special meeting and not downstairs where we have big bingo.
The Taste of Thornton Township debacle is a perfect example of the chaos that has come to define Henyard's time in office. Imagine spending 85,000 pounds on a party that barely anyone attends. That's exactly what happened. Keith Wyatt was paid 30,000 pounds for a half-hour performance, and rapper Jay Holiday took home 20,000 pounds for his short set. Add in the cost of staff, equipment, and other expenses, and you've got an event that drained the village's already struggling finances. And here's the kicker: only about 65 to 70 people actually showed up. That's right, an 85,000-pound event for fewer than 70 people. It's no wonder the trustees are livid.
Mr. Lacey is absolutely not guilty of all 9 counts. I believe he's cooperating. And if you cooperate, you have to admit your guilt first.
And it doesn't stop there. Henyard has been accused of using village funds for her own personal security detail for high-end SUVs. To be exact, costing the village nearly 250,000 pounds over just a few years. The trustees have tried to put a stop to this spending, but Henyard isn't budging. She's claiming that these expenses are necessary for her safety. but residents and trustees alike are calling it excessive and unnecessary.
Coming in, I mean, unfortunately, we knew it was going to be a little messy, but it's just something we felt important that had to be done, that should be done. So, but like I said, you have just some accountability.
There's also the ongoing saga of Keith Freeman. Remember him? He's the one who tried to blow the whistle on Henyard's questionable financial practices. Well, Henyard fired him, and now the trustees are worried that his firing could lead to a costly lawsuit. They believe Freeman's termination was unjust, and that the village could be on the hook for a settlement they simply can't afford. Henyard, of course, insists that Freeman's firing was justified, but the details surrounding his dismissal are murky at best. It's just one more example of the chaos that seems to follow Henyard wherever she goes. But perhaps the most jaw-dropping part of this whole saga is Henyard's ability to keep going, even with a federal investigation breathing down her neck. Yes, you heard that right, Henyard is under investigation by the FBI for her handling of village funds. This investigation was sparked by the endless reports of her misuse of taxpayer money, and it seems like it's only a matter of time before the hammer comes down. But Henyard, she's not worried. In fact, she's doubling down on her claims that this is all just a politically motivated attack designed to take her down. She's even gone as far as to veto a village resolution that would have launched its own investigation into her spending, claiming that the trustees are out to get her.
Terminate his employment. I don't believe that is legally correct. That's just not the way municipalities operate, right?
The trustees, however, aren't backing down. They've hired Lori Lightfoot to lead a special investigation into Henyard's finances, and the findings are expected to be explosive. Lightfoot, who knows a thing or two about dealing with scandal and controversy, has been digging deep into Dolton's financial records, and her preliminary findings paint a pretty grim picture. According to Lightfoot, Dolton's general fund balance was £6 million in 2022, but by May 2024, that balance had plummeted to a £65 million deficit. That's right, Henyard has managed to drive the village's finances into the red in just 2 short years. And let's not forget, Lightfoot has uncovered some shocking credit card expenses, including £33,000 spent in one day on Amazon. It's enough to make anyone's head spin.
Hey guys, this is Super Mayor Tiffany Henyard, the People's Mayor and People's Supervisor.
And the residents? They're furious. Many of them have been calling for Henyard's resignation for months, but she's refusing to step down. In fact, she's digging her heels in even deeper, insisting that she's the victim of a smear campaign. But with federal investigators closing in and Lightfoot's report about to drop, it's hard to see how Henyard can keep up this charade for much longer.
So that's one of the reasons I vote no when we go through our board packets. It's like, some of this stuff, it's like you don't know exactly what it's for, and then when you ask a question, there's no answer.
Fan reactions have been pouring in, with one comment summing up the situation perfectly. She is on the ropes and the strategy isn't working. Miss Lightfoot is ready to land the knockout punch. It's hard to argue with that. Henyard is clearly feeling the heat, but instead of stepping down or admitting to any wrongdoing, she's continuing to fight back. But how long can she keep this up? Another fan comment gets straight to the point. She needs to step down. I don't know why she hasn't yet. Just fire her. It seems like that's the sentiment shared by many of the residents in Dolton. They've had enough of Henyard's antics and are ready for a change. But Tiffany Henyard, she's not going down without a fight. Even with everything happening around her, the trustees turning against her, the federal investigation, Lightfoot's scathing report, Henyard is still holding on to her position, refusing to acknowledge the gravity of the situation. It's almost as if she believes she's untouchable, that no matter what happens, she'll come out on top. But with the walls closing in on her, it's becoming harder and harder to see how she can survive this. The showdown between Henyard and the trustees has become something of a spectacle, with each side refusing to back down. Trustees have made it clear that they're not going to let Henyard continue work, and they're doing everything in their power to limit her control over the village's finances. But Henyard, ever defiant, is pushing back at every turn, claiming that the trustees are the ones playing political games, not her. She's accused them of trying to sabotage her efforts to improve the village and insists that she's been nothing but transparent with her decisions.
I do not handle anything as relates to with credit cards. As you heard me speak today in my board meeting about, I do not handle that.
Some of those charges are for you, though.
No, sir.
But when you look at the facts, the unauthorized use of credit cards, the extravagant spending on events, the excessive security detail, it's hard to see how Henyard can claim transparency. The trustees have repeatedly tried to rein her in, but she's fought them at every step, vetoing resolutions and continuing to spend village money like it's going out of style. And now, with federal investigators involved, it seems like the only question left is, how long can Tiffany Henyard hold on to her title as super mayor? It's almost comical how Henyard continues to act as if everything is fine, even with the evidence piling up against her. She's managed to alienate the trustees, the residents, and even her former allies, and yet she's still standing. It's a testament to her sheer stubbornness, but at what cost? Dolton is millions of pounds in debt, the village's reputation is in tatters, and the residents are left wondering when, or if, they'll ever get the leadership they deserve. Do you think Tiffany Henyard will finally step down, or will she keep fighting until the bitter end? And what do you think of Lori Lightfoot's role in all of this? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates on this unfolding drama.